Hello and welcome to Coaster Crazy, scenario number 49 on our quest to play everything in Open RCT2. Today's is kind of special, which is to say we have limited money but unlimited time to turn this mountainside area into a vast roller coaster park that has 10 different types of roller coasters, each with an excitement value of at least 6.0. This is why I didn't do this one this weekend, because I knew it was going to take more time. But in a happy accident, we have found ourselves with a Tuesday video that needs to be done, since Timberborn seems not to want to cooperate with me currently. So we have a really big park available here. Square footage is a whole 614,350 if this is to be believed, but it's a game, so who knows. Anyway, it's a big space, and we need to have 10 different types of roller coasters. Currently, we have not 10. So what we're going to do is funnel our money into research, focusing on roller coasters and thrill rides. Thrill rides because they're very good money makers in roller coasters, because we need to have roller coasters. Currently on the thrill ride front, we have Twist, Pirate Ship, and Pirate Ship but upside down. And then we have some shops and stalls, including the information kiosk, our favorite money maker. So I'm going to pop that guy right there. And you already know what we always do with these. Let's hit that $5 umbrella price and get a move on with some other stuff. I am going to start with the merry-go-round just so we have that lovely soundscape available to us here. But before I place that, let's turn this around. This is, one more time. This map has a lot of hills and valleys and this lake in the middle, which we, of course, will make use of. So it's going to be a little challenging to use these prefabricated rides on some of them. So there's going to be some coaster building for those of you who are very much in favor of me doing that. So I think what's going to make the most sense to place this right here, pop that right here, and then do a little bit of terrain modification just so that we have access to a little bit more space. Right, like so. We can just run that path all the way through. Turn this merry-go-round on. Don't really care how much we charge for it, because the guests don't either. And then, of course, pop in our path accordingly. Let's just get this hooked up real fast. And we have a space right here for, how about a restroom? Seems like a smart thing to add. I am going to keep those free. And now the fun can begin. We're researching roller coasters and thrill rides. We have 7 to choose from here. And a very good start is going to be our Spinning Wild Mouse Custom. However, the excitement rating is only 5.9. Well, what are we going to do about that? It has to have a rating of 6.0. You can raise the excitement rating with scenery, although it does take a lot of scenery. Or what we can do is we can place this down and we can slightly modify how this is set up. I think that's going to be the most fun way to do it, in the spirit of, playing the game, quote-unquote, the correct way. But we're going to need to find a place that is going to cooperate with the support height, and also in a manner in which we can adjust it accordingly. So, let's place this here, and then let's go into construction mode. When you come out of the station, this goes up to this hill, goes around here, goes all the way down to here, then goes all the way down, and then it goes around, and then it goes up, and then it goes down and around, and all that other stuff. I think what might be a winning option for us here is to kind of lengthen this thing up here. Now this piece is the reverser brake, I think it is. The spinning toggle control track. So that's fine and dandy to have there. What that's going to do is that's going to make it, I think, so this one can rotate starting here. So when we go around this, then it rotates, and then it locks. And then it goes around here, goes up, and then it locks again, or unlocks here, I think is how that goes. So what I'm going to propose we do is... Oh, I guess I should have put that one back in place. I need to click on this guy. Come on. There we go. I'm going to make this go just a little bit higher. So this is 80 feet. This is 85. This will get us to 90. And then how about right off the bat, we go down to 80 here. Then we hit that real sharp turn. And then we'll go up a little bit to 85. And then we will go back down to 80. let's try that with the little ghost mode, because that is going to add a little bit more speed going through the rest of these curves and could boost our excitement. It's definitely going to boost the intensity. But I'm interested to see how this reacts. And I don't remember if this stays locked at the start or if it's rotating at the start. I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, looks like it rotates at the start, and then that locks it that way. And then that allows it to rotate, and then going around that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nausea-inducing. That's what you want. All right. Okay, so then it locks right there, going around that curve, and then I think it goes right back in place, and then it rotates before it gets to the front. So let's come out of ghost mode and put this in actual test mode. I guess I could have just tested it, but you know how this goes. So we can examine here, or we can examine here. I think I'm going to go for the lateral Gs to make sure I don't actually disembowel people with this. But very, very interested to see how this is going to fare here. So it looks like we're up to about 2 here. That's our max so far. All right, I see negative 2.0. Yikes. Okay, so that is now up to... Okay, well, it's red, but that's not automatically a disaster. It's definitely not ideal. But we may need to take a look at that, depending on how this thing pops out in the thing here. Looks like we got corkscrew roller coasters. Well, hey, guess what? That's an excitement rating of 6.11, and the intensity is pretty high, but I'm going to consider that to be a success. Let's charge $3 for this and get this thing open so we can get some cash rolling in. This is, of course, the same height. Actually, no, it's not. I stand thoroughly corrected. Let's get that hooked up. So that's one roller coaster. We just have to have 9 more of separate types. And the corkscrew roller coaster is, of course, a very good opportunity for us to do kind of a shuttle loop scenario, which I actually don't remember if I saved. I thought I had. There's one of these that I modified, I'm pretty sure, and then I said, I'm going to save that, and I thought I did, but you know what I don't see is I don't see that. So maybe we'll come back to this one at some other point in time, because I was pretty sure. But we have people riding this, so I think we can consider that to be all fine and dandy. Let's put in some benches, and of course a trash can. We're going to need to get some other guests in here, but we have so much space. If we can get a decent bit of cash, we can make some pretty cool roller coasters. And I'm not trying to spend, like, 3 hours on this, but I'm not afraid to commit a little bit of time. Since we have unlimited time, though, this is going to be a scenario in which we want to use fast speed so we can try to make cash a little bit quicker. No real reason to slow it down if there's not a goal that we need to be apprised of. Okay, so regular wild mouse. Taking a look at any of these pre-made, there's a couple that are above 6.0. But, when you place these things, it's not always the same because of terrain differences. I'm not opposed to, basing most of this off of the, the pre-built rides. But at some point, we are going to have to make some changes to different things for various reasons. And we can't have everything just be high intensity either, so that's a good thing to keep an eye out for. Yeah, most of these are above 6.0. Let's try to find an interesting... 2.6, yeah, forget it. Let's see if we can get something interesting going here, because I've got... I thought one of these was like 8 something. Well, okay, 7.7 with an intensity of 8.2 is not bad, but this is already an intensity of 9 something, so if we can find a high excitement rating with a lower intensity rating, I think that would be ideal. But it looks like most of these are going to be pretty high. Let's try this one. See if I can find a location that will accept this, because as we all know, these are very temperamental when it comes to lift hill heights. So it looks like right here, if we kind of have this come down this way, we can have these nest, which is going to raise the excitement level of both of those. This will cost us a cool $4,300. Rotate around this way, and I immediately see a problem because of the terrain here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this in front of the station just so we can fit everything in that needs to get fit in. And let's have the, I think that's the lift hill there. Let's have the entrance that way and then the exit that way. What that's going to allow us to do is pop in all of this. I'm going to have to, oh, it's not going to let me, huh? All right, well, Cool, I guess we'll just look at this ugly view for a while. Snake this back and forth like we like to do, and then I believe this path will end up going underground. If we decide we don't want it to be underground, that is a choice we will have to deal with at that point in time. But let's turn the land back on. I think it would be beneficial for us to just have this directly connected to a normal path, which is going to mean that this has to be brought down that way, and then that way. Let's have this come up. Same deal here. One down, and that corner down as well. Bring this up. Rotate so we can get a handle on what we're doing here. And this is going to have to make a turn in this spot, but that is okay. Just have that attached right there. And it looks like we will be in pretty good shape. Let's turn this guy into on mode. Charge $3 for this and get some guests rolling in. How's this affected our excitement? 6.28. Okay. And they don't seem to be put off very much by the intensity rating, but yeah, there's some nasty stuff on the ground here, which reminds me, I didn't hire any handymen or mechanics, so let's just take care of that real quick. You know, it's no problem. We're only in early June. Let's take this out at triple speed, though, so we can actually see in real time these guys going around here just a little bit. All right, not a shabby start. What have we unlocked in the meantime since I've been messing with this? Corkscrew, classic wooden twister, classic stand-up. Okay, so that does give us 10 different types of coasters, but I don't think the game's going to count classic wooden and classic wooden twister as separate. If it does, then okay, cool, but in my mind's eye, this is the same coaster. This just has, you know, 2 more track elements to it. So I'm going to obviously still let it research and try to do whatever, but we have spinning wild mouse and wooden wild mouse ready to go. I'm going to count the regular steel wild mouse as functionally the same as the spinning one, just for my purposes. So we will need to build something else. But since we have space right here on top of the queue, this would be a great place for us to put a couple of thrill rides. And I think we will have a very good chance of, you know, actually making some cash here. If we just have this come up this way, across and around here, then I can have a short queue right there for Twist 1, which I don't really care for those that much, but it fits in the spot, and that's fine. So let's put in some scenery here. We got a dinosaur. Okay, that's a big old dinosaur. Is there a single block? Okay, here you go. Yes, dinosaur, Triceratops, or something over here. How many horns does this thing have? It's kind of hard to tell. 2? And maybe a stubby one? Well, you know what? Well, it's called dinosaur. Let's put dinosaur here. Just because that's kind of a cool thing. That'll boost the excitement rating of this just a tiny bit. And maybe this one also, depending on... okay, that doesn't look like that's changed, but that's all right. How are we looking here? 6.85. All right, and it was advertised as, I think, 7-something, so it obviously it does change. You always have to check, but that's where we're at. Now we're looking on this. We still have roller coasters to research. That's fine. Let's go back to triple speed just because we are, you know, pretty low on cash. And we certainly need to get some more coming in. Now we do have loans available up to $25,000. I'd like to avoid those if at all possible. But you know how it goes. We just kind of have to wait. Not having the time limit is really helpful here because we could just have this thing running at full tilt at all times. But let's see. The swing inverter ship is slightly smaller in terms of footprint, which means I can place it here. Looping coaster, that means we can do our whoop-de-doos, but I don't think those are high enough excitement. We will see. We will see. So rotate this here, turn this guy on, and I'm going to go ahead and still give this a queue. Oh, I don't have enough cash to build paths. That's right. Okay. Well, that's the life of a theme park owner, I suppose. Run out of money so you can't actually build or fix anything. All right. Let's just connect this up right here. In fact, I'm going to do one more. There we go. So that way we don't have the dreaded 2x2 path, and then they can work with that. This space right here is absolutely dying for something to go in there, and of course I don't have the cash to build a drink stall. We'll get to 250 soon enough. And then that will allow me to start selling some beverages. Eventually. Alright, come on. Come on, let's get up. Let's get up to 250. I don't want to wait too long, because then it's not going to be interesting. Alright, you know what? Turbo speed it is. Bring me the cash. This is no longer a request. Alright, come on. Come on. There we go. Alright, drink stall 1. I'm going to leave that price. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we don't, die to the sounds here. Steel Wild Mouse, I already said I was going to, maybe not do anything with that. But let's take a look at our looping coaster designs. Now, whoop-de-doo left and right are sitting at 5.3. I don't know that these can be modified to be more exciting, but I'm interested in trying it out. I think if we did 2 loops, that might be interesting, because that would increase the amount of inversions to 4, because it goes back through all the time, and it would increase the amount of drops to, like, I don't know, 5, however that works. And of course I want to do these in pairs, but, there is a method to this that we should abide by, and it's going to take more length, which wouldn't fit here anyway. But I suppose we could have these guys all up here if we had a path that went up high enough. Might not be tremendously great. Let's see if I can get these in a slightly better location lower down. Might not be a bad idea. If we can get a path down here, which I don't think would be too tall of an ask, we could have these kind of go out over the lake a little bit. As long as we can have a path behind them, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Ah, yes, cash. All right, well, I'll just take the loan, because we do have to actually accomplish something, don't we? Okay, let's come out one more here, so I don't have to do quite so much terrain modification. Let's start with this. I'm going to go insane if I hear those truncated screams any longer. So, we already have the one loop. Let's have this come out here, and we'll go the other direction, which for this one is right. And then, coming out of that, let's do our photo section, and then we'll go up, and then we'll go up, up. And I think, there we go, that's the way we wanted to go. I don't know how high this is going to have to go to get enough speed to go through both loops, and I'm worried that might cause some problems with intensity. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this entire 360-degree spiral thing in place, but I'm going to add 2 more pieces, and that's as many as it's going to allow me to do. Now we have to test this. The default speed saved was 45 miles per hour. Let's see how far that gets us. It might end up still being perfectly fine. That goes... Oh, that doesn't even go all the way up as it was. Okay. As long as it can make it back through here empty, we're good. And it looks like it does. Alright, so what's our test results on this? It's actually lower. Okay. And the intensity is a lot more. Okay. So, here's a new idea. We already know this goes all the way up and around. So instead of that, if I'm able to get this to do something maybe a little bit more interesting, maybe we'll have a better shot at actually, being interesting here. Alright, so a large up helix for G-force purposes. Have this still go up here. If I go up that way, I'm worried this might have quite a lot of G-forces, but let's give it a shot. So that goes up to 50 feet. If I go down, and then... Actually, hold on. No, let's go down and let's go all the way up. That's going to go through this loop. It might not make it through the other loop, but I'm just, at this point, interested to see what happens with the rating here. And I'm going to slow this down so that there's less of a risk of a crash. But let's see what happens. Because there are some designs that do this, and I think I can still make it so these can nest. Okay, so that's not going to crash like that. But the more important question is it going to have enough momentum to go back through the loops? And that is a resounding no. So that is going to need a little bit more juice. So I believe what's going to happen here is we have a banked turn. Or I might be playing with a little bit too much fire here. Let's have this be a small upward helix, which I cannot continue because there's whoop-de-doo left in the way, as one does. I don't think we want to go 2 full loops, but let's give this a little bit of space. And try this. Up small, up small, up small. That's going to get us up to 35 feet, and it's going to go zoop, like that. Sound effects included. And then if we go up from here, then I can turn. I know this is, you know, well past the original intent of this design. But that's going to take us, I believe, with a little bit more interest here. Let's go back up to 45 miles per hour, because that's way higher than it was originally. Go through here, go up. This is going to scrub a little bit of speed, and then hopefully still go back through here. I guess we'll see what happens. Velocity's looking good. Lateral G's looking good. Vertical G's. Okay, so if that's if that's not loaded, it's going to get stuck in that loop. Let's bump this up to 47, and then I guess I have to do construction so that stops, and then try this again. Let's try it at 47. I don't want it to go too much faster than that, because it can be more exciting to have the sensation that, you know, the coaster's going to stop where it shouldn't be stopping. We'll see here. So vertical G's above 4.0 are going to be a little intense for some folks. But that's kind of a neat pattern there. Okay, that's only gotten us up to 5.57. I unfortunately do not think this design is going to be viable for the purposes of this scenario. So I'm going to have to can it, unfortunately. But I'm glad I tried, because, you know, trying's important. And we have unlimited time. So now we have steeplechase as well. Mini suspended coaster, which good luck getting one of those to above 6.0. But let's see if the steeplechase has anything for us here. Okay, Racersaurus here, 7.3. This one's 6.4, but that's pretty big. How big is... okay, alternative vehicle type. Does that mean there's no dinosaurs? You know, that actually looks kind of cool. And this might actually be suited pretty well to this space now that I think about it. Let's see, 7118, 7159, 7117. That might be our winner right here, folks, except I do not have $7,117. So, how do you fix that problem? Take out a loan. Free money, right? Yeah, that's totally how that works. Don't try that in real life. Not a good strategy. Before we build... you know what? I don't think I want to deal with changing all of these, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't like looking at these. Can't build footpath. Footpath in the way. What? Okay. I don't think that's how that works, bud. But anyway, just swap those over because I do not like how the timber frames look. I know. Who cares, right? Well, I cares. That's who cares. Let's see. Okay. Racersaurus is in the way. My favorite song. It's not my favorite song. Racersaurus in the way. Okay. So how in the world am I going to get connected here? This is where isometric view always rears its ugly head with me, as I can't figure out exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. Pathing is always a challenge. Okay, so that's not going to work. If I come out straight down, 2 of these and 3 of these, that can connect there, and that's probably, you know, as boring as that is, that's probably going to be the best bet we have. And that goes there. Alright, well, you know, it's not exciting, like I said, but, it works. 1, 2, the terrain is not going to be wanting to let us do this here. Well, Racersaurus in the way, but how far do I have to go before Racersaurus is not in the way? Here? Okay. So I suppose that's okay. How long's the queue for this one? 3 tiles? That looks like I should have paid more attention when I learned how to count. That looks like 3. Okay. So if this is 3, then that is going to have to be 3, and then that means that can just be regular old thing there. And now we just have to connect these, which means probably, depending on how this is set up here, let's hide ride supports. Yeah, see, this doesn't really connect nicely, and this also isn't going to play nice here, but what we can do is we can bring this path down, say, right about here. So let's, yeah, let's do that one, turn the supports back on so I can actually see what the paths are doing. And then this will come down to, looks like right about here. Let's have this on the outside of these supports, so this can then come over to here. And do we... Yes, I know you're hungry. Hold down. Hold on. I'm buying roller coaster pathing here. Let's just bring that in place here, just so it looks a little bit nicer. And that's going to bring us up to that path there. And this does have to be here so it can, you know... Okay, these screams are absolutely tilting me. Let's move on. That's on the same level there already. That's fine. Racersaurus on horses. They race horses, race motorbikes. Although I'm very curious to see what those dinosaurs might have looked like. Let's see, what colors are we going to get here on the horses? I guess that's fine. Let's charge $3 for this. And open. And this should give us the promised high excitement value. But it's entirely possible it won't. We will see what happens. So, turbo speed. Whole lot of block sections on this one. But we will have to wait till someone completes their entire journey here. Nobody wants to ride it, so this guy just keeps popping in and out. There we go. Now somebody finally decides to ride it. I guess we have to wait for somebody to come out. So that means it's fully completed. See, this is why I have trust issues with this. Because if you take a look at this, it said 7.3. And it's only giving us 5.81. So, it's very interesting to theorize what kind of boost the dinosaur train cars, if that's what it was, would have given to this. But I think if we do a little bit of theming, we might be able to get this back up over 6. And we do have dinosaurs, as we have, you know, learned earlier. So where can I shove a dinosaur in here? Okay, right there, if we put the big old dude. Wish I knew what all these dinosaurs' names were. I should have paid more attention when I was a child. So there you go. How about just an absolute, insert your favorite phrase here, load of dinosaurs. Right under the track on this guy. Inverted roller coaster, huh? All right, so we've put in 4 dinosaurs. So all of the children are going to come in here and see, oh, hey, cool, it's like the Land Before Time, except children these days probably have no idea what the Land Before Time even is. But when this game was new, everybody and their mom sat there and watched all the Land Before Time movies. And then the, oh, man. Oh, here we go, meme history. Oh, geez, like 13, 14 years ago, whenever that Yee meme or whatever came up, I guess that was from an Italian, I think it was Italian, movie similar to The Land Before Time, but obviously not the same kind of deal. The things that my brain remembers while I am recording videos. Okay, the dinosaurs apparently are not a hit with the guests. 5.83. So, now we have to see what we're going to do here. Let's turn this on turbo for a little bit and see if that changes after a couple of days. Sometimes it does take a little bit of time for this to get updated. But if these 4 exciting, magnificent dinosaurs have not swayed public opinion, then we may have to rip this out and put something else in. You know, that's a real shame. But I have additional weapons up my sleeve here, including but not limited to putting more dinosaurs in, or trees, or anything else of that fashion. And I don't really know anything about, you know, what kind of trees dinosaurs might have existed with, but if I can find anywhere to pop in a couple of trees close to, underneath, or whatever these tracks, then that's probably going to be a smart idea. Might not be an easy thing to, you know, necessarily have a whole lot of success with, but these coasters are so hard to get excitement ratings up on. And there's also a certain amount of, you know, you can't plant a bunch of trees underneath or around some of these coasters without things just going incredibly, horribly wrong in terms of placing stuff. So, just bear with me here as I try to salvage this coaster design with random trees. Alright, we're at 5.83. Where are we at now? 5.9. Okay, so the spamming strategy is actually going to work, it seems. How about some, you know, flowers or decorations or something? Because those are very low to the ground. And I can have one here, 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 I can have another one here, and I can have another one here. All these are different. Now what has that done? 5.96, we're getting there. Of course, Handyman will have to, you know, water these, but that's how it goes. Jumping fountains in the, I can't put them in the queue, can I? Well, I can put them on the pathways here. It's probably not a horrible thing to have. Alright, now. Oh, come on. 5.96. Alright. I'm tired of hearing the whole guests don't have anything to eat thing, so let's give them some fries outside of the Dino Coaster and some burgers outside the Dino Coaster. Come on, there you go. Now that's not going to count for scenery, but it's going to make that message stop showing up. What if I put in a sign for the coaster? Racersaurus. There you go. Has that increased? 5.96. It has not. There's also a limit to how much you can do with this, and I don't know if I've reached that point yet. But these, you know, these gardens aren't super expensive. They are $4 for the small ones and $13 for the big ones. If we put in a clock here and here, now both of them will know what time it is. 5.98. Hey, time's exciting. Time's exciting. Alright. Dinosaur bones. Can I put those on either side of the path? Or, oh, you know what? That might actually be a winner. Might be a winner. If I just put in a couple of these right here. I don't think that's going to be close enough to affect the rating here, but maybe. Why do I always want to click new rides for this? I'm not used to building scenery. Can I put fences and? I can. Okay. All right, that's some fences around the dinosaurs, you know. This one's not going to get shut off in the rain though, so hopefully these ones don't escape. Let's try no, it's still 5.98. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna be a huge bummer if this is actually the limit of all this stuff. Let's try to find some spaces to put bushes in, like around this whole turn here. Not opposed to cheesing things just a tiny bit, but we probably should put in some other actual trees close to some of these things. I don't think we're going to get any of the big ones in there. What about gardens? Yes, actually. So let's do 2 of those there. No, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, there's that 6.01. There's a 6.01. I can't put gardens on a sloped footpath, obviously, but it works. We're going to count it, and we're going to move on. Alright, so we've researched hyper twisters. We should have most of the coasters unlocked by now. We got a top spin. Top spin's a really good ride to have. That's going to help us make some cash. Guess for hunger, can't find anywhere to buy food. Come over to the dinosaurs. You can get your dino burgers, dino fries. Sounds like a good time to me. Top spin. Where am I going to be able to place stuff for this? I guess just another one of these. That's going to make sense to do like this. It's not the most exciting setup in the world, but it will get the job done. Set this to intense mode, and away you go. Okay. So now we have the central park area here kind of a little bit closer where we have our lake. And in terms of water rides, we do have the log flume, the dinghy slide, and the boat hire. I'm interested to see if we're going to get that that splash boats thing, if I were to research that. So as it stands now, we have 15 types of coasters, and we've built 3 of them, 3 of the 10 that we have to have. It's not going to give us a progress bar or anything, but now we have 16. I think the Hyper Twister is the one that, yeah, see, these are cool, but they're really big. And really expensive, so that might be like a late game thing. Unless we build one of these smaller ones, but these, okay, $312,000 I don't think is going to happen. So let's take a look at some of these other designs. We already talked about the looping coaster, my whoop-de-doo design specifically not working, but we can still make one of these. Let's see, a lot of these are above 6.0, but as we've seen, the amount can lower substantially when you actually install. Look how sad that is compared to the whoop-de-doos. Whoop-de-doo is just so much better, so much more majestic. Oh yeah, you ride one of these helix things. Okay, 7.4, that's kind of big. 14, I'm going to need something that's kind of cheap to start off with. So this one's right at 6.0, that's kind of dangerous territory there. 6.5. Yeah, see this, Fizzly is one I built a lot when I played this as a kid. We got 2 different Fizzlies. This one, slightly different here. This might have actually been the original design. This one's 6.2. It's probably going to be under 6.0 when we place it, because you know that's how that always goes. That is a very stripy paint scheme. Reminds me of a... I can't remember what the character's name was called, but that Real Monsters show that aired on Nick in the 90s. Reminds me of that. Let's see. Yeah, see, I don't have the cash for any of these at the moment. Well, okay, 24. No. All right, back to turbo mode we go just to farm some cash. I have no reason to believe these have changed. But I trust this game about as far as I can throw it, and this is a digital copy that I cannot throw. So that's still fine. Okay, good. At least we're making progress. Remember that we are already at 20,000 of our max $25,000 loan, so we really need to start making some more cash. So a month with no ride construction, and no landscaping, no anything, is we're going to find out at the end of August here just how much cash we've actually been able to make in a month. We're going to have to get those numbers up. We're probably going to need to raise the prices on the rides. Because right now it's not even looking like we're going to clear 1,000 by the time the staff and the interest all get paid. Yeah, see, it just keeps going down every time we do our research, and then the loan interest comes in, the ride running costs, and then the shop stock, all that stuff. Oh, okay, well I guess technically we just barely made it over 1,000 with the thing by the end. So let's just raise prices on our coasters. This is set to $3. Let's go to 4 on Erasersaurus. Let's go to Spinning Wild Mouse Custom and raise that to 4. We haven't actually checked and seen how many, guests come in with a whole lot of money. Maybe that's something we should do, but for now, that should be fine. Let's just click on a random guest. Oh, they're loaded. They're loaded coming in here. That's a whole that's a whole $90. $100. I can't do math. Okay, somebody just broke down. That's fine. Yeah, we're not going to need to worry about, running them out of money quite so much. There's not a guest count goal either. So theoretically, we probably should be charging them as much money as humanly possible and then pocketing our profits, but I guess we'll see what happens. Motion simulator, don't really care. If we can get go-karts, that would be great. I don't know if go-karts unlock in this scenario or not. I don't usually check to see which ones do unlock before I start playing these. Okay, merry-go-round broke down again. How many, I'll just, you know what? I'll just hire more mechanics. We'll make use of them. They're not that expensive. You know, we've already been recording for 40 minutes. I told you this is going to be a long one. Especially if we have to farm the money ourselves. It might end up being a scenario where I'm going to have to time-lapse in the middle of one of these, which I normally don't end up doing. But if I don't get anything else out of this, I don't think I need to research any more coasters. Unless the game counts certain types of coasters as the same type of coaster. Alright, so 11th of March I'm going to turn off roller coaster research so we can try to do thrill rides. And if we can't get go-karts, then I'm also going to turn thrill rides off. But we just have to wait. It's all we can do. Is just wait. Merry-go-round is broken down so many stinking times. Come on, man. Alright, they were complaining about the paths, but I don't see any dirt or nasty on here. So I guess we will just have to wait and see. So we should see what kind of thrill ride we're going to get here in just a moment, if it's coming out on the 9th of April. Launched free fall. Okay, well, that's also a good one to have, so I'm not, not upset with that. But we really got to get a move on some coasters. We're still sitting at 3. I got to make 7 more of these. The video's already 42 minutes long. Okay. Cheaper coasters, like the Classic Mini, are going to be a lot harder to get the excitement level up on without, cheesing it with the decorations. But it is possible if you have something that's actually large enough. I don't think it's going to be worth the money, though. So instead, let's turn to the classic wooden style. Ah, yes, wooden loop dude. This is... that's what I named it. We had the one... I forget which one it was that we modified for one of the previous scenarios. One of these somewhere. At any rate, the most popular designs like Woodchip, not 6.0. Mischief technically is, but when you place it down, it's going to be under 6.0. As you start spending more money on these, the excitement rating does usually go up, but it's not a guaranteed thing. I think I'd like to aim for higher than 6.5 on this display to see what shows up. 6.9 for only 12,000, but that is a pretty high intensity rating. Probably is just going to come with the territory, though. So that's 9.4. That is a kind of a nice looking coaster. That's 20,000 bucks. This is the one we modified. There we go. Okay, what was that other one I was looking at that I thought was fine? 6.1, 6 point something, 6.3. Do I dare try the 6.2? I think it's probably not the worst idea we could have ever had. Let's see if I can rotate this around. It's going to cost more money no matter what because the terrain on this map is kind of a challenge, but... Okay, 10.05, 9952, 97, okay. Let's roll with this, and then get everything hooked up here. I know that the pathing between this is going to just be an absolute nightmare. I think I can go under the hill here and then through the thing here if I just, take my time. So let's have this come out to... Then this is going to have to come out this way. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to go down here. I'm going to have to come out to this and then go down again. So we'll stop there. Stop there and then go up. Delete that and then go up there. This will need to connect with one of these on the back side of here. I can't have that go that way because the coaster is going to be in the way. So come out a couple more. Oh, that bulldozed one of the trees. Bulldozed one of the trees. We're going to have to do emergency scenery edition here. I should have checked on path height marks. That's 20. Okay, so that's... Now I have to wait for these losers to stop walking up my pathway. Oh, somebody got lost. Sucks to be you, dude. This has to go flat. That's why I did that. There we go. Now you can go back on the path. I don't think anyone else got lost. This I'm going to charge $5 for. On-ride photos are going to be fine. Open that up. and get those test results. Oh, 6.12. Okay, never mind. I guess I had to tear down a tree and then build a path under the coaster, and that was going to be more exciting. Good to know. 6.41. Our work here is done. So that is coaster number 4 of 10. And in terms of our research, spooky... oh, we got go-karts. All right. So now they're just, they're messing with me. So... water rides, shops, and stalls. I don't care about spooky theming. Although we can, because we have spooky theming, we can build Mr. Bones. So, there are worse things that could have happened to us. Go-karts. The king of just money-generating nonsense. But this isn't a roller coaster, so, it doesn't matter how big of an excitement rating you have. So, just, to keep the guests somewhat satisfied, let's just make a simple one. If I can find a place to build it without there being too much nonsense. So I'd rather not have any kind of just shenanigans if I can avoid it here. There we go. That should connect just fine. That's 7 cars. 3 laps on this tiny track is probably okay. They'll pay anything, so how about $4? Sounds like a good thing to me. Take this off at turbo speed here for a little bit. To build the queue, just a nice simple out and back, and then have that go there, and then we will send this directly down. Oh, I misjudged the landing zone. Unfortunate. So that means now I'm going to have to remove my bones and the sign. Or what I can do is I can just have this go all the way up, and by all the way up I mean not all the way up. We'll go this way, and by that I mean not that. We'll go this way and go up like that. Alright, so in a real park this is an abominable path design. This is not how you should be doing this. But this isn't a real park. The excitement rating has only increased with the addition of the go-kart track. Okay, very good. Let's put in some benches and a few more trash cans, because we have to have trash cans. Oh, we got Mom's Spaghetti over here. Hold on. Yeah, these people need some benches. Yeah, just have a seat and don't spew everywhere, please and thank you. All right, October 10th, year 3. I got $6,000. I still have a loan of $20,000, and we've researched all the roller coasters I think we're going to want to. Back to turbo speed we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to time-lapse for a brief period of time and accrue some cash, and then we're going to start building some other coasters. Hopefully the cash comes quickly, because the rest of the coasters we're going to have to build are probably going to be pretty expensive. But I'm not going to make you sit here for 3 hours watching me just do this in real time. So now we can come out of the time-lapse and build something else. Okay, so it's now April of year 5, and we have $27,000 in the bank. We still have a $20,000 loan, but we're not going to talk about that. We still need to build 6 more coasters. It's going to take a long time. 6 more coasters of different types. So, Wooden is out. Wild Mouse is out. Spinning Wild Mouse is out. Steeplechase is out. We can still build a regular steel coaster, looping coaster, this version of the game calls it, if we can find one that is going to be a high enough rating. But in pursuit of, actual dollars, I think it would be a good idea for us to build a big hyper twister. If we can find one that's going to be, fitting the bill and not costing $30,000. And there's a decent bit of these that do have pretty good excitement ratings without costing a ton of cash. This one has kind of a complicated queue layout that might cause issues with our terrain, but I do like that design, and it's a racing coaster, which is always fun. That is an abomination, and so is that to a certain degree. But I think one of these relatively cheaper ones, like $16,666, is not that bad. And depending on how we want to arrange this, it could very easily interact with a lot of our other coasters, which is always fun, but it does end up costing more money. And that's $22,861 Might be about the best we're going to get, but it's going to boost the excitement rating just by being close to other things. So, if I go ahead and place this now, then we come around here. We can put our entrance in, hopefully, an advantageous position. We're going to hear our favorite song if I build this here. So, if I have an entrance... You know, I'm very curious. I want to see if it's going to allow me to do this. Yep. Okay, so let's not do that. I don't want to put this on the other side over here either because I think that's going to cause other problems. Like, for example, not being able to get a path all the way across. However... Wait, is this actually the... Okay, that's the exit of this station. I guess that's fine. We can have them enter right there. Might be a good idea. I know I just said I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to do this. See if I can get down below this. Okay. And then... Nope. In the way. You know what? This is actually possibly a viable solution here. Let's go to height marks on paths. That's 60 feet. Let's come right down to, say, 40 is what we decided that needed to be. And that will connect right there. Take this out of turbo speed. And this will need to be assigned an appropriate price, which I'm going to say is $6 because it's more expensive. And now we get to see everyone come and ride this nonsense. And it does interface nicely with a bunch of the other coasters and doesn't take up all of the space down here. I know that's a concern for some of you. We've unlocked a bunch of stuff. In fact, we exhausted our research ideas that we already had checked. So I'm going to take this out of funding so we don't spend that money every month. And now let's see, anybody on this? I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, there's a couple people on it. We just need to get that rating. Let's come through here. Ride photo. Somebody's going to buy it. If they are not, yes, they are. Come through here. A little bit of a brakes, and then into the station. Now let's see what those ratings are going to look like. 8.6. Fantastic. I probably could charge more than $6 for this, but I guess that's going to be just fine. Let's put in a couple of benches in relevant locations. Put in a trash can. And there we go. Now, I don't know exactly what's been unlocked everywhere because I did have this running for a little bit. Looks like we have splash boats, which is good because that is going to give us an opportunity to have a lot of guests in one place at one time. Double drop. Not a perfect ride by any means, but it is a very, very, very easy moneymaker for us. And it can interface very nicely with everything as well. And I believe these paths are going to work just fine here until I can actually, you know, put in a thing to connect everything. So, $3,100. Looks like that is fine. I know these paths aren't the correct style. So even though I don't need to, I'm going to change them anyway. Just because I like things to look nice. Go ahead and, well, mostly look nice. I understand there is a finite limit to the amount of effort that can actually be imparted into something like this, but you know how it goes. Let's turn off our supports so I can touch the rest of these here. I think that's all of it. Let's just go around. Okay, I missed one here. Alright, looks like that is fine. Supports back on. We have 3 boats. We've known that we can get away with having, like, say, 10. I'm going to go for 8. I think that's going to be fine. We'll do $3. Just run that right now. And now we have to get these things connected. And this is going to be one of the most annoying parts about this map. Is this is down at 5 feet. And this connects to 40. So, this is currently directly underneath all of this mess. If we want, we can do one of these kind of things here where we just have this go up 1 block every... Oh, I guess not. I was mistaken. I'm going to have to do 2 of these at a time. Because I think it's not going to care if I have this set up like this. And then that'll just connect right there. I know this is an absolute rat's nest of ramps here, but the show must go on. You know how it goes. I'm going to help these guys out and put in a do not enter sign on the exit so they don't get lost. But the rest of these, I don't think that's going to be an issue, except maybe right here. It could be another do not enter sign. So they'll just go down and around and in here and out here and then back up. You know, every day's leg day. For these guys, at least. Into turbo mode we go. As soon as the guests start getting in here and, you know, fill all these boats up, they should be spaced up pretty nicely. And we can collect some more cash. Always good. So this will be roller coaster number 5. If I've counted correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more. Which, given the size of this map, might end up being a little bit more of a challenge than I thought. We'll get creative. It's going to help a whole lot more once we can, you know, actually get substantial quantities of cash. These things just take time, though. It is known. Okay, 5 mechanics probably still fine, although the path network is absolutely abominable and is going to cause some sort of confusion, I'm absolutely certain. Okay, maybe 8 boats is a little bit too much. Seeing how long these guys are having to wait here, if they're complaining, we'll shut it down. We'll lower the amount of boats. Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone saying they want to get off double drop, so I guess we're good. Nice profit, $5,100 an hour. How's our big coaster looking on that? Whoa, okay, almost $20,000 an hour. Okay, it's going up and down a little bit, but I will take that any day of the week. Of course, we're going to want to have extra, you know... Wow, look at all these food... Hey, tentacles! All right. Everybody wants some free tentacles, huh? Enthusiasm for tentacles may vary. But where am I going to stick these? There you go. Come and get it. Okay, this seems to have mostly evened out. We really need to get a whole lot more guests on here because I think the capacity on this with all the trains going is like 100 something, which would be fantastic. But we only have 773 guests, and like I said, the pathing in this map is an absolute abomination. But what this has allowed us to do is also have a path coming out this way to put another coaster over here should we find a design we like. We have not built a corkscrew or a regular looping coaster yet. Stand-up, I believe, is its own thing. There's only one pre-made that's going... Well, this is a user design, but... $20,000 for that? I don't think so. Corkscrew-wise, though, these are a little bit easier to get the higher ratings on. Let's see if I can find something that's not completely insane looking. 6.4. That does look kind of fun, though. 6.8. Look how many inversions. It's got 10 inversions. That's an intensity rating of 9. Might be a little, just a little high there. Just a little bit. Huh. Okay, here's one 8.9 with an excitement rating of 7.3. That's $21,000. Oh. Okay, here we are. Here we are. 6.4, intensity 9.3. It's only $8,600. Sign me up. If I can build it, that is. What kind of shenanigans am I going to have to do to get this in here? I don't think it's going to play nice. Okay, I saw one. Oh, yikes! That is certainly one of the layouts of all time. So what is it about? I think it's got to be some sort of supports. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. Well, the entrance is so high up. See, this is what's going to cause so many problems building this. Is that the entrance is so high up that no matter what, you're going to have pathing just be an absolute nightmare again. But $10,000 though. Let's check the height on this. 110 feet. Oh, geez, here we go again. Well, oh, it is what it is. It's 2, that's 4, that'll be fine. I'm just leaving this in turbo mode because it's so much faster. So much faster. Let's go $5 here. Just open that, I suppose. That is reverse incline launch shuttle mode. I don't think we're going to need to have a... That goes real quick. But I guess it is in super turbo mode. See, the height on this is just honestly a little hilarious. Because that's got to get to 60. Well, actually, it's got to get to 40 through here. Let's, because this is a no entry, I can actually get this all the way up if I wanted to. So that's going to get me to 70 right there. I can go all the way up to 100. And go all the way up to 100. Look how tall that is. Ah, yes, my favorite song. That's going to go here. That's going to go here. All right. So now I have to remove, not remove Khaleesi, I have to remove the banner. Now, this is a gargantuan climb with, you know, a roller coaster at the end. Like I said, the pathing is absolutely horrendous. But we're going to get... Look at them lined up. Look at them lined up there. Just absolutely raring to go over here. I think we can maybe help this out a little bit by trying to build another coaster down here if we can find one that'll fit. Alright, let's go for the regular looping. See if I can find one that I liked here. 6.2 is not bad. It looks like pathing-wise, this might actually work out here. If I flip this. I'm not totally in love with this, but if it is going to connect in the same... Okay, that's super, super low. Well, let's... Oh, this path style is also not the one I like. 75 feet to 110. Definitely have done worse. I also see that the queues have not connected appropriately. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Okay, how am I going to get this figured out? Okay, new plan. New plan. Delete the paths completely. I realize I could have just, you know, built it without them, but I think it's interfaced with the terrain in such a way that it's not going to be possible to use them. So this will just save a whole lot of misery on the other end here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is definitely something that needs to go away. I don't see any more queue. I think that's all the paths. Well, they're not connected anyway, even if they are here, so that's going to be what we're rolling with. So now I just have to get these connected. I think we're going to run into some issues with... No issues with pathing? Okay. Now, am I going to hear my favorite song here in 5 seconds? No, I am not. Okay, that is encouraging. What about here? No. Okay, good. So that's 75. What I can do to kind of, you know, make this viable here, turn supports back on. I can have this come up and then meet everything. Let's see, 85. Let's go up one more. And then go up this way. Oh, yikes. See, isometric view. Isometric view. Every time, man. Every time. Let's go down that way. Come up this way. Nope. Not gonna work. Oh, boy. This... the pathing network in here is so foul. Alright, see, that's that coming up that way. Can I go up there? I can. Okay, so that's going to be right there, 105, if I turn this way. Alright, so there you go. Enjoy it, I guess. Maybe we'll sell more park maps. $5. We probably should hire some more handymen, and by hire more, I'm just going to, you know, get up to 20 and get 10 mechanics, because I am not assigning zones to this, ever. That sounds absolutely horrific. And these guys are going to need to have test results, so let's just have that go. And that'll give us our first run here. Okay, now I see someone wanting to ride on that. Except now, oh, this isn't going to go until it completes the whole thing. All right. That's fine. Let that go. Okay, still above 6. Good stuff. Is this one still above 6? Yes. All right, so that should be 6 coasters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're closer than I thought. A little bit closer. I mean, I'm just going to keep adding these until the game tells me I won, but let's be honest, with a path network like this, we've all truly lost. In the worst way possible. Alright, so Double Drop is doing Double Drop things. Maybe you could have a few fewer boats on that. Still don't have a whole lot of people on this one, which I guess is because we don't have 1,000 guests here yet, but now we can put in a couple more things. Just trying to think. Because I wanted to have, instead of, you know, a point-to-point path light, I wanted to have this be like a circle around the park, but I think the height differences in the stations here are not our friend currently. And, you know, I did make a promise that I was going to put more water rides in. And I recognize that this technically is a water ride in the lake area, but it is not a water ride on the lake. That honor goes to the boat hire. So, I think I'm going to have to, put a boat hire in. So, I'm not going to bother building this pre-built design because it's a boat hire. Instead, I guess I will just do one of these numbers here. Just a whole bunch of boats. And at the very end, I will put in that so they don't get stuck there. And I'm going to turn off vegetation. And then on this side, I guess I'll just have a really long station platform. And then that so they cannot possibly go to this side of the lake and get stuck. Alright, so that's going to give us 16 rowing boats, or canoes, and for 14. Let's go for rowing boats. We'll do 16. It's only $1. That's fine. Can't... Oh, I haven't built an entrance. Okay, that's on me. And it's a boat hire. We don't need to have a long queue. We will not have a long queue. And I want this to hook up to this path over here. So let's do... Alright, like that. Open her up. Got a lot of boats. Just make a nice, simple queue. 3, 4, 5 here. And let's check our path height marks. That's 15. That's 15. We should be able to just go right the way across, straight into there. And we did. So now we've connected to this bottom path area, kind of where the double drop is, and they can paddle their boats around, and hopefully they don't get stuck. If they do, then I'm going to ignore it. And that is also not a coaster, and it's also not going to give us any amount of excitement, so. But it is important to me that I, you know, don't forget about stuff people have asked me to do. Alright, compact inverted coaster could be a good candidate for some high excitement. Deja Vu. It breaks it down so you don't have to. I don't know, unless they already just completely wiped that thing off the face of the earth, which is entirely possible. I need to have space for the queue, which I suppose will fit through here, be fine. $6,700. I am not going to change the queue on this because I do not care. I am going to charge $4 for it though, and then I'm going to have to turn off supports so I can bring a path in this way. And this here, I think, is going to be our best bet. Raise or lower land first. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, is I'm going to make a hole into which this path can go. And then that will require me to turn on height marks for paths. That is -5 feet. That is -15. Okay, well, now it says -10. If someone is on this path and I delete the segment I cannot see, they will pass away. No one has died, so I think I did that correctly. Good job, me. Bring this up out of here and flat on that side. It's going to bring this out to 0 feet. And then I will have to have... Well, I don't have to have. I get to have Get this land out of here. Let's do... There. I lied. Now I have to actually fix this because I've started changing it. Can't get rid of the tree because the land's not owned by the park. Don't care. Alright. So this will now have to be... Oh, you know what it did? You know what it did is it got rid of the entrance path to the exit because there was terrain in the way. So this is why you check, folks. So now that goes in there. Actually, I can have this go up one and then connect to there. Alright, now you have a super long path to Deja Vu, which may or may not even be open when you get there. There you go. And then the test results should give me above 6. 6.41 seems good to me. Alright, so now we have a corkscrew. We have a stand-up coaster. We have... No, this is the compact inverted. This is a corkscrew. This is a stand-up. This is the wooden one. This is the one I forget the name of. Steeplechase, wooden wild mouse, spinning wild mouse. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different coaster types. I think it's going to count Twister and Hyper Twister as separate. This is probably going to be a good one to get a nice coaster out of. Atomizer. That's a fun name. Contortion. Some of these names are... Frightmare. That's an all-timer right there. Let's see. Lunar Launcher, Medusa. The rest of these are custom stuff. Atomizer looks kind of terrifying. Let's try to build that. Where can I place this coaster? Can I place this? Oh, here we go. Ah, yes. Super high up. That's exactly what we want. That's our bread and butter right here, is insanely tall. How did this guy get over? All right, whatever. Not my problem. Well, I guess it literally is my problem, but you know how it goes. All right. Let's just put this here. I got the cash. Ah, it's broken the queues once again. Well, we'll have to fix that. But what is our height looking like on these paths? Okay, so this is 85. Let's do ourselves a favor here and just remove... I need to start learning to just remove the paths before I build stuff. There's an option in the menu, you can turn that off. It's just going to be easier that way. So if this is at 85 feet, that's going to make it a lot easier for us to connect to 60 feet over here. And that is a fine option. Let's, I'm not used to this being on this side of the screen. Let's do this. Let's go out this way. It needs to have a queue, but it doesn't need to have a super long queue. Just want to be able to hold 1 or 2 trains worth of guests at a time. Which I actually don't know how long those trains are. Let's, nope. It's playing our favorite song, so we don't want to do that. It's also our favorite song. Let's go 1 more here. And then I'll just have this connect to here. Have this connect to here. And then from the very top of this, let's go up to 85 feet. And I think this should end up connecting very nicely to right here. Alright, so again, path spaghetti is what it is. But now we have an opportunity to charge a fair price of $5 for this. And turn her on. Alright, get on the coaster. Ride that thing. Give me some cash. And that should be coaster number 9 if this keeps its... above 6, and it is. Okay, so that's coaster number 9. Now before, in case this wins us the scenario, I'm going to pay back the loan. Company value of $355,000. That's pretty good. What have we researched lately? Have we even? I'm not complaining about the length of queues. Well, you know what? I don't care because the park rating is 999. So, we haven't researched anything. Well, I know I gave them no funding, but... Oh, that's all the coasters breaking down. Yeah, well, you know, the mechanics have to walk every word too, and it's not a slam dunk here. We got half of them inspecting or responding, walking, heading to, sweeping, so on and so forth. All right, what should our last type of coaster be? Okay, I don't like side friction. Virginia reel, yeah. Reverser, yeah. We built this. Not going to build that. Built that. Not going to build that. Built that. Not going to build that. We could build a mine train. Wait a second. What kind of coaster is this? Jellyfish. Oh, no, Jellyfish is a looping coaster. We didn't build a classic stand-up. I don't think. No, we didn't because I couldn't do that. Okay, well, note to self, don't do that then. We built a twister, built a hyper twister, did not build a suspended, built a compact inverted, built a steeplechase. You know, bobsled coasters look kind of cool. But is there one of these? Yeah, see, these get dangerous if you have them go too fast around curves, and not a lot of these are above 6.0. This one's at 7.5, but it has 2 stations. That would be kind of annoying to get up. 15,000 for this one at 7.4. That's a very circuitous shape. Is it going to allow me to build this is the real question. Okay, there actually is a place for this to go. Okay, what is going to be the most advantageous location for us to do this? 818. I think this is going to have ideally no clearance problems. It's going to be more spaghetti pathing, but let's run it. Okay, entrance all the way down here. Exit all the way up here. We're going to have this just go right next to the station. Bring this out here. And now this has to get connected to probably easiest thing to do. Let's turn off rides. 15 feet, 40 feet, 40 feet. I can just have this go all the way across. Ah, yes, our favorite song. Racersaurus in the way. That's going to have to be that. Can I go this way? At 40 feet, yes I can. Can I have this go down to 15 feet? Close enough. Let's go here. 25. Let's go down. Racersaurus in the way. Okay. That's right. Alright. Well, I was going to go that way, but I guess we'll just have to go around. Figure 8 track in the way. There you go. Now you can get to here. It's not tested, so it hasn't, won the game yet. But let's anticipate that at a price of 4. It's also possible this doesn't win us the scenario just because the game secretly counts 2 types of coasters as the same type of coaster. I don't know. But before we are finished, I think this is, they're all pre-built rides. Some of them we've modified. Some of them we've not modified, but not too bad of a collection of stuff. I know they smashed my trash can. We have to fix that. But I don't think there's any other trash cans that have been smashed, and I don't see any benches that have been smashed. Gardens are all doing okay. I guess that's just an overcrowding thing. But I think this is something we can be pretty happy with, although I don't really know what's going on here in the boat hire land. And I said I didn't care, so we're just going to leave them to fend for themselves. So there you go. Yeah, let's just open this up. And we'll wait for it to go around, and then that's probably going to be that. Yeah, this has been a really fun scenario. Makes me think a little bit outside the box. Obviously, the pathing, again, awful. But that's what you get when you work with these pre-built rides and you have all these different terrain changes and stuff. But I'm going to say this has probably been one of the more challenging ones I've done just because I've had to, not just plop pre-made rides down in super easy spots. I had to actually think about it a little bit. And I do want to do an actual playthrough on, I guess, the end game map, Mega Park or whatever it is, where we, take our time and make stuff that looks nice. But I don't know when I'm going to be able to squeeze that into the schedule. Just know that it is something that's on my radar that I'd like to do. And I do always appreciate your input on these videos. Beard Boosters, of course, subsidizing this whole series because YouTube doesn't really want to push it with the algorithm like it does with my Beaver videos. But I'm having a great time playing the game, and everyone who watches these really seems to like them. So I'm going to keep doing it until we've done every single scenario in the game. We're coming up on 50. The next one will be number 50, and then we should be done with Corkscrew Follies / added attractions after that one, the one after that one. So a couple more videos, and then we'll be in Loopy Landscapes, and then we go through all those, then we start RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. And it has its own expansions and stuff as well. So there's still plenty to come. We're probably going to be doing this series for at least another year, depending on how long it takes to get things accomplished. But I'm having a great time, and I hope you are too. We'll go ahead and, just wait for the scenario victory to come up. And if it doesn't, then I'll know I did something wrong. But we'll catch you on the other side, put our names on the list, and that's going to be all she wrote. There we go, like I thought. Company value of $340,293. And at last, the longest episode of RollerCoaster Tycoon, I think, at an hour 29 minutes, is finally done. So, name on the list, and there you go. Whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, have a fun and a safe time, and we'll see you back soon for more coasters and more beavers and more everything else. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.